In March of 2019, I released a video called Games That Didn't Get Enough Love. I wasn't focusing on games that were underrated. Many of these reviewed very well. My approach was to shine a light on a few titles that just aren't talked about all that often. Games that I love, but anytime I bring them up, people are like, oh, I've never played that one. In 2020, I released the sequel, taking a look at several more. From The Suffering to Boogerman, Age of Zombies to Skullmonkeys and everywhere in between, the majority of the titles I covered fell into the retro category. This time, I'll switch it up. A much higher percentage of what we look at here today will be modern. Games that, if you see this video and you want to give them a try, you don't have to wonder how the hell you're going to get your hands on a retro console to play them, you know? Welcome to Games That Didn't Get Enough Love 3. Every video here on 616 Entertainment is made possible by my supporters over on Patreon. If you enjoyed the show here today, consider signing up. You'll get early access, exclusive videos and podcasts and more. Pro Wrestling Tees has the merch. As always, thank you for watching. First up, let's take a look at Arcade Paradise. We play as Ash, a teenager who dropped out of business school. Rather than rotting away and amounting to nothing, we take over a dumpy little laundromat owned by our dad, who is very successful and doesn't have time to take care of this little junk pile anymore. We're washing clothes, drying clothes, and in between loads, there's an arcade machine in the break room. Long story short, inspiration strikes. People like arcade games, right? So we start taking the profits from the laundry and we're buying new arcade cabinets. Little by little, we expand the laundromat. But rather than install new dryers and washers, we're putting games out on the floor. The games start drawing more revenue than the laundry and we're off to the races. I won't spoil the story, but the relationship between Ash and the father, it struck a chord with me. This game gets heavy, so be prepared for that. It's worth noting that every single arcade game we purchase is fully playable. We can earn more money by getting high scores in the game, so interacting with every machine is highly encouraged. I love this game, Dan. It's just $20, and I can't recommend it enough. And no, there are no microtransactions to be found. All of the games are unlocked with the money that you earn from your laundromat, just to be clear. Up next is Astro Aqua Kitty. Is that name silly? Yes, it is. Is this game fun? Yes, it is. We play as a tag team of cats, or you can throw a dog in there if you like. I know I did. We're out in space in a sick ship with fully customizable and upgradable guns. There's a crew of space pirate rabbits who are constantly trying to mess with us, but they can't handle the smoke. I recently earned the Platinum Trophy in this game on the PlayStation Vita, but if you're more of a home console person, Astro Aqua Kitty is also available on the Xbox, PC, Switch, and more. This one will run you about $14.99 and it goes on sale all the time. Add it to your wish list and just wait. Look, I know some of you might roll your eyes at Godfall, but shut the fuck up for a second and listen. Firstly, did you even play Godfall? I've heard a lot of people who have had a lot to say about this game without ever even touching it, and that is annoying. This was my runner-up for Game of the Year in 2022, and I'll tell you why. I love games like Diablo, where I'm fighting in search of better gear that will allow me to fight even better. I love games like Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning or Elden Ring, where the environments are beautiful and the combat is extremely fun to engage with. Godfall is basically taking those two concepts and smashing them together. Is the Godfall story as good as any of the games I just mentioned? Not even remotely. Is it a better game overall than Elden Ring? Absolutely not. But if you like melee combat loops and going to war in search of legendary items, Godfall is what you're looking for. Man, I really need to go back and clean up this platinum. I'm super close. I say give Godfall a chance, but if you don't want to, that's fine. And at the very least, if you don't play it, don't shit on it. That's not cool. How about this one? Nobody I know played Darksiders Genesis, and that's a goddamn shame. Take the action RPG combat of the Darksiders trilogy, which is a third-person franchise, and throw it into an isometric, basically Diablo-style frame, and you've got this Genesis spin-off. With multiple playable characters, each of which have their own unique playstyles, gear, and finishing moves, all set within an extremely colorful and constantly changing collection of environments. Come on now. For 25, 30, 35 bucks, you can't go wrong. It's still kind of Halloweenish, right? No? Alright, I know, I'm pushing it. Pumpkin Jack is fucking awesome. I don't know how many of you are fans of Cinemassacre or the Angry Video Game Nerd, but if you watch James' other series, Monster Madness, he calls the movie Trick or Treat the most Halloweeny movie ever made. The visuals, the atmosphere, all of it. I think that's a perfectly reasonable opinion. I might even agree with it. Take that idea of the most Halloweeny movie of all time and apply it to games. That's Pumpkin Jack. Every character, every level, everywhere you look. This is Halloween. You know, this is Halloween, this is
You wanna get sued?
And Pumpkin Jack was made by one dude, which, as crazy as that sounds, it's true. As an in-between, here's a little bit of footage from Let's Play Friday taking a look at my Animal Crossing island. Let's Play Friday airs every week over on Patreon or right here under a YouTube channel membership. But as far as today's video is concerned, that's 5 games up, 5 games down. How many of these have you played? Have you played any of them? If you haven't, feel free to correct that. I'm not trying to steer you wrong. These are all great. Now let's check out a few more and then we'll get the hell out of here. I'm straining my guidelines of modern releases a little bit here, but who gives a shit? Clockwork Aquario fucking rules. This was an arcade game developed in the early 90s, and for a variety of reasons, it never actually came out. That is, until 2021, when it was finally published for today's modern consoles. Clockwork Aquario is a 2D platformer with gorgeous graphics, great music, and I mean, just look at it. This is awesome. It's short. You can pop the platinum trophy in like 4 or 5 hours by beating the game with all 3 characters, blah blah blah. Don't skip this one. $10 on the PlayStation Network. You out of your mind? Oh man, I can't recommend Abzu enough. I really can't. We've looked at action RPGs today and 2D platformers and shooters. Abzu doesn't fall into any of those categories. Have you heard the term walking sim before? Some use it in a demeaning manner for some reason. I don't. But I feel like Abzu could be called a swimming sim. This is an underwater adventure that starts us off in the shallows. The lush greenery and excitable sea life in this biome are a joy to engage with. As the game goes on, we dive deeper, we swim faster, we meet new creatures, and I won't give away the whole thing. Let me just put it out there that Abzu is an absolutely beautiful game from beginning to end. This is from the team who brought us Journey, alright? This one's only about 90 minutes long. You can play it in one sitting. And let me tell you, in the glow of the TV screen, all alone, Abzu will grab you. Dude, Dead to Rights is fucking awesome. If Abzu is gonna make you feel feelings, Dead to Rights is gonna make you want to crush a Mountain Dew can in your hand and flick your cigarette to the side and fight a motherfucker or two. We're going back about 22 years here, so this one isn't all that modern. I mean, the PlayStation 2 is considered retro at this point. But again, who cares? The rules are loose. I had Dead to Rights when I was 13 or 14, and I was obsessed. I think I played through it 3 or 4 times, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been looking for an excuse to do it again. Maybe if there's some interest, I can do a retrospective on it. Huh? Let me know. In the meantime, play Dead to Rights for yourself. Tracking this one down will be a little more difficult, but it's not particularly valuable. You can grab a complete PS2 copy for under $10. Days Gone is a game that was given to the press before it was ready for showtime. It was buggy, it was laggy, and its reviews suffered for it. I didn't buy Days Gone until a couple months after launch, and by the time I got my hands on it, it had been patched and improved big time. None of those technical issues plagued my experience, and now, years after the game's release, they're a distant thing in the past. Not only do I think Days Gone doesn't get the love it deserves, Days Gone was my 2019 Game of the Year. I love this game. I went and cleared all of the freaker nests, I took out all of the cultists, I popped that platinum trophy, big time. If the rumor of a Days Gone native PS5 version is true, I'll pop that shit again. The guns feel great, and smacking enemies with a melee weapon is top notch. I was obsessed with upgrading my motorcycle. Even getting gas was a good time because I didn't have to fucking pay for it. How you doing? The stealth is fun, and I'm not even big on having to sneak around. Oh man, play Days Gone. And to close things out for games that didn't get enough love 3, I'm shining a light on God of War Ascension. Released in 2013, this was the 6th God of War game released on consoles. 7th game in the franchise overall, if you include the mobile game, God of War Betrayal. Ascension dropped right at the end of the PS3 lifecycle. We're talking just 8 months before the launch of the PlayStation 4. Not only that, but with God of War 2, God of War 3, God of War Chains of Olympus, and God of War Ghost of Sparta all releasing within the last 7.5 years, Kratos was very busy. Maybe too busy. Maybe okay, enough already busy. Take that franchise fatigue factor and match it with the fact that Ascension is a prequel to the entire series, and you've got a recipe for, maybe I'll pass. And if that was you, if you passed on God of War Ascension, you fucked up. Some of the coolest fights and most spectacular action set pieces of the whole franchise are right here. I covered Ascension as deep as humanly possible in the history of God of War, and I was blown away by how many comments said, "Oh man, I slept on this one." I hope some of those people tracked down a copy and checked it out for themselves because, I think this is one of the most underappreciated games ever made. And I mean that. If you've been sleeping on God of War Ascension, wake the fuck up. Oh, there are 10 more games that didn't get enough love, and we are looking at my Animal Crossing island again because I didn't feel like shooting on-camera parts for this. If you guys enjoyed this video, maybe I won't wait several years to make games that didn't get enough love 4. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. And as always, chime in. Let me know about a few games that you think didn't get enough love down in the comments. I will definitely be reading, as always. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I love ya, and I'll see you soon.